Good morning 10th class students. Today we are going to start a new topic in our chapter, that is life processes. In the chapter life processes, we are going to study today the digestive system of human being, how the nutrition is obtained in human being. Students, in previous video we have seen that the nutrition can be obtained through different methods by the living organisms. Some living organisms are autotrophic and some are heterotrophic. In heterotrophic mode of nutrition, how the amoeba intake the nutritive things or how the unicellular organisms take their food, we have seen that. Now in multicellular organisms, we will see how the nutrition obtained by the human being. So students, as you are well aware that in order to intake the nutrition, human being or we first of all intake the food with the help of our mouth, that is we call it buccal cavity in the language of science, and then in buccal cavity we chew or grind the food particles with the help of our teeth. Then the food move forward and goes to our stomach. So we will see step by step what are the different changes that are takes place in the food that we eat, how it get absorbed and how the energy produced by this food. So students, in order to understand the digestive system, let's draw the diagram of the human digestive system. In human digestive system, the digestion of the food starts with our mouth. Here it is the way of intaking of food, or we can say it our buccal cavity. In buccal cavity students, when we chew the food, then a watery substances called saliva get mixed in the food, which helps in the digestion. So if we see practically, then the digestion of the food get started through our mouth. In saliva, an enzyme called ptyalin, name of the enzyme is ptyalin, is present, which start the conversion of starch into sugar. So students, when the food enters in the mouth, its digestion gets started, and after chewing the food enters in food pipe. This is our food pipe just below the buccal cavity. This food pipe is known as esophagus. Esophagus, or in general we call it food pipe. After entering in the food pipe is connected to the upper end of the stomach. This swollen part is known as stomach. After entering in the stomach, and from the stomach connected our pancreas. This is our pancreas, and through the pancreas a common duct here this is connected our liver, and from the liver here an storage for bile juice, bile duct is present. So students, when the food move forward from the stomach, then it enters into the small intestine, and through this small intestine connected our large intestine. Here this is pancreas, liver, large intestine, this is small intestine, vermiform appendix, or in general we call it appendix, and here the anus, and this is stomach, the main storage system for the food, where the food gets stored. So students, now let's understand how the food moves and which are the different types of the changes that takes place through the digestion. Here this is our esophagus, storage of the gallbladder, a storage tank for bile juice. Now students, when the food enters in the mouth or in the buccal cavity, then saliva get mixed in these food particles. So when the saliva get mixed in the food particles, then along with the saliva, an enzyme present in saliva known as ptyalin also get mixed in saliva, which converts the glucose into the starch into glucose. When further the food moves in esophagus, then a special type of a rhythmic contraction and relaxation of the muscles takes place, which helps the food to move downwards in the stomach. That contraction and relaxation of the food of the muscle called peristaltic movement of the food. The movement is known as peristaltic movement. Of the food. Now, when food comes in stomach, then here the wall of the stomachs are covered with a special type of mucilaginous substances called mucus. The name of the substance is mucus. A lining or a layer of mucus is present at the surface of the stomach wall. In stomach, some glands are present in the wall of the stomach. They secrete some substances that helps in the digestion of the food. What they secrete? They secrete mainly three types of the substances. One is HCl, that is hydrochloric acid. Second one is mucus, it also secretes mucus. And third one is the digestive enzyme named ptyalin. Its name is pepsin. Pepsin is an enzyme. So let's see their function one by one. What is the function of hydrochloric acid, mucus and pepsin? Hydrochloric acid, students, first of all get mixed in the food and make the food acidic. It changes the medium of the food, first thing. Now what is the need of the acidic medium in stomach? So our third product, that is pepsin, that enzyme acts in acidic medium only. So in order to get the action of the pepsin enzyme, we need the acidic medium which provided by the hydrochloric acid, first thing. Second thing, if there are some bacteria or germs present in the food that we take, they will destroyed by the HCl, second thing. Third thing, it softens the food particles. If sometimes we have eaten some seeds which are hard, some edible things that are hard in nature, then hydrochloric acid, before moving the food in the small intestine, it will soften that particles. So this is the function of hydrochloric acid. The function of mucus is that it protects the stomach wall from the action of the hydrochloric acid, because acid can damage our muscles. So it protects the muscles from the hydrochloric acid, and pepsin helps in the digestion of the food particles. So students, now the food has come in stomach. Now the medium of the food is acidic here. Due course of the HCl, the medium of the food is acidic, and in acidic medium pepsin will action. Now at the lower end of this stomach, a special type of the muscles called sphincter muscles. The name of the muscles is sphincter muscles. Sphincter muscles are present which pushes down the food in the small intestine. But during the movement of the the food particles into small intestine, a common duct is opened at this place. Common duct, that means which is connected with liver as well as pancreas. Here two type of digestive juices comes and get mixed in food. One digestive juice that is secreted from the pancreas, we call it pancreatic juice, and second which is secreted from the liver, we call it bile juice. These two juices comes in contact with the food. Now the nature of the bile juice is acidic. There are no digestive enzymes present in bile juice, but it provides the basic medium to the food. When the food comes in small intestine, here the medium of the food is acidic due course of the action of the hydrochloric acid. So in order to nutrify the medium of the food from acidic and to make it basic, a basic medium is required, which is provided by the bile juice that is secreted by the liver. Bile juice first of all secreted by liver and get stored in gallbladder, and then through the gallbladder it comes and get mixed in food particles. The second function of the bile juice is that it breaks down the fat that we intake through in the form of the food. It breaks down the food and emulsify the fat particles. If we take the functions of the pancreatic juice, then pancreatic juice contains different types of enzymes which helps in the digestion of the food. Let's see which type of the main enzymes are present. Main two enzymes are present in pancreatic juice. One is trypsin and second is lipase. The main function of trypsin is to convert the protein into amino acid. Trypsin enzymes converts proteins into amino acids. And the second enzyme, that is lipase, the main function of lipase is to convert the fat into fatty acids. Lipase converts fats into fatty acids. These are the main functions of the two juices, that is bile juice and pancreatic juice. Now students, further the food moves next in the small intestine. Small intestine is actually the longest part of the alimentary canal. The alimentary canal, that means from mouth to anus where the food moves, that whole path is known as alimentary canal, and small intestine is the longest part of the alimentary canal. Let's see what are the changes that takes place in small intestine. If you talk about the length of the small intestine, then it varies from organism to organisms. For example, the herbivorous animals that only intake the food particle, the plant products, they have the large small intestine, longest small intestine, because the reason behind having the long small intestine is that the cellulose needs more time to get digested. And in controversy, if we see the size of the small intestine of the flesh eating animals, that is omnivores, then their size of the small intestine is small just because digestion of the meat is very easy. So when the food comes in small intestine, then intestinal juice get mixed in intestine and makes it pulpy, which makes it easy to move in forward direction. Now secondary, if we see the structure of the small intestine, then there are finger-like projections present inside the lumen of the small intestine, just like this. If this is the cross section of the small intestine, then just like this finger-like projections are present. These finger-like projections are known as villi. The main function of this villi, student, is to increase the absorptive surface area of the small intestine. They also stop or slow down the movement of the food in order to increase the time of absorption. Their surface area is very thin, that just below the surface of the villi, blood capillaries are present, which absorb the nutritions or the nutritive food materials from the food, and then the rest of the food material will move in large intestine. In large intestine, only the absorption of water takes place and no other nutritive substances get absorbed, but only the absorption of the excess water that have lost with the food again reabsorb in large intestine. And then when food moves through the large intestine and it is exhale out through the anus. So these are the different steps of the digestion through which the nutrition in human being takes place. Now, if we say that food is digested and food is absorbed, but the students, food does not get absorbed in the forms such as we intake it. Before absorption, the nutritive substances get converted into another absorptive form that our body can absorb easily. Let's discuss which type of the substances in which the food materials get changed before getting it absorbed in our body. First, if we intake the proteins, then protein get converted into amino acid. Protein, our body does not directly absorb the protein, but it get converted into amino acids. And students, we have seen the name of the enzyme that converts the protein into amino acid, that is pepsin. With the help of pepsin, protein get converted into amino acid. Second thing, fats that we take, fats get converted into fatty acids and glycol. Fats get absorbed in the form of fatty acids and glycol. Third is carbohydrate. Carbohydrates, which are the main sources of our energy, before absorption it get converted into glucose. Glucose readily provide energy to our body. That is why whenever someone fall ill, then glucose is given intravenously, so it can recover very fast because glucose can provide energy directly. Students, during the beginning of the digestion in buccal cavity, we chew the food with the help of our teeth. Teeth are very important organs in order to carry out the process of digestion, but our teeth may get lost due course of the some inactivities, or some causes are there which causes the tooth decay. Students, the uppermost layer of the teeth called enamel is the hardest layer in our buccal cavity or in our teeth, which slowly get dissolved by some microbacteria which produces acid. Whenever they present with our food in the form of food particles, they produces the acid which dissolve the enamel. So in order to remove that bacteria, we have to regularly brush our teeth after the each meal. So students, that is all about the digestive system of the human being.